another episode of Well-Adjusted Mama. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Brayton, and today's guest is Rachel Adams, speaking on embracing authenticity. Rachel Adams is the co-founder of Aitchison Adams Real Estate team at Keller Williams Realty. She is currently ranked in the top 1% of all realtors in Placer and Sacramento counties. In 2015, she was named Wall Street Journal's top 1,000 agents in the United States. Her team is anticipated to close nearly $50 million in sales for the year 2016. When not actively selling homes, Rachel can be found traveling the U.S., coaching others on how to build a successful real estate team with a winning mindset. She has a love for public speaking and enjoys seeing the positive effect her experience brings to others' lives. While real estate is in her blood, her greatest joy comes from encouraging others to lead their best life. Rachel often hosts Female Empowerment Masterminds, all geared towards finding your power within. Rachel's love for inspiring others, combined with her own unique and powerful journey, led her to create the Lost to Found 90 Days book and program. This empowering program leads people to live their best life. With her large and successful presence on Facebook and other social media platforms, she's excited to share this with people around the world and is poised to create a global network of Lost to Found members who are committed to living lives of intention, great success, and authenticity. Rachel lives in Folsom, California with her boyfriend, Ryan. Together they own and operate real estate, R&R Investments, an investment company that flips homes. They lead an active life and love all things outdoors. Rachel loves to blast great music while creating a healthy meal in their newly renovated kitchen. In addition to cooking up healthy meals, she loves to travel, participate in growth seminars, and serves as an ambassador for a local sex trafficking nonprofit. If you've had the pleasure of spending time in Rachel's presence, you know that she loves deep conversations that end with a hug. She is passionate about living life to the fullest and chooses happiness above all else. Please check out her website at lost2found90.com. Welcome, Rachel, to the call. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So we're going to be focusing our interview on embracing authenticity, and this is a topic that is really important to me. I think a lot of the listeners are really going to resonate with this message, and I'm really excited for you to share with the listeners of the podcast kind of what that means to you and how you kind of got to this place in your life. So let's just start off with talking about your personal story of how you became a successful entrepreneur, coach, and creator of the Lost to Found in 90 Days program.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I think the thing with embracing authenticity is that it's a little bit scary because there's so much pressure put on us for perfection. And so sometimes we, and especially when we're talking about social media, Mike, don't even get me started, but, it breeds inauthenticity, and people are committed to having either this bigger life than they actually have, or if they take away, an actual intimate moment from something or a family, or because they want to get a picture, to post on Facebook, and they're identifying their self-worth and their self-importance by how many likes and comments they get. And, I was that person. So I got into real estate in about 2012. And when I got into real estate, I was in a pretty unhealthy marriage. I was with a disabled veteran, and he was 80% disabled. And a lot of stuff comes along with that, as you can imagine. And he had PTSD really badly. And so I get into real estate, and I knew that it was all about me. He wasn't working, so I was making the income for the family. And, I started my business door knocking 200 doors a week, doing 3 open houses a week for the first year. And I ended up closing 39 houses, and then 109, and then 123, and that landed me in Wall Street Journal's top 1,000 agents in the country. And for anybody looking on the outside in, they saw this perfect blonde girl. I had the perfect car, the perfect life, the perfect, happy hours and nights out with my girlfriends. And I was really, really intentional about what I put out there. And I use social media kind of as my platform to help grow my business. Well, what people didn't know is that in those 3 years it took me to become a top 1,000 agent, I had gotten a divorce that I never dealt with. I gained about 30 pounds. I was putting everyone else's needs in front of my own, clients, friends, you name it. And I was getting a headache because I wasn't hydrating enough. And then I'm drinking a cup of coffee with an Advil because I was also tired because I wasn't sleeping enough. So like the outside world showed perfection because that's what I wanted them to show. I thought that's what I needed to do. I didn't want anyone to know I got a divorce. At the time, I thought I was a failure instead of knowing it was part of my journey. So what happens is I hit top 1,000 and I get a call from my corporate office. I'm with Keller Williams. I live in Sacramento area, California, but the corporate office is in Texas. And they said, hey, Rachel, can you come out and we'll shoot a commercial about you. We want to inspire new agents and show how you lead your life. Because at this time, Laura, I'm traveling around the U.S. coaching businesses or coaching agents on how to run their business and have a healthy mindset. And I mean, I'm walking across stages talking to thousands of people, telling them how to lead their life. And it was almost like two different lives, like one reality for me versus what I wanted to put out there. So I go shoot this commercial, and I am, up like 30 pounds from where I should be at, for being healthy. And I, get my hair and makeup done, and I'm wearing like a serious pair of Spanx because I'm like trying to hide the 30 pounds. And, the camera lights are on, and I walk into the gym where I'm going to be interviewed, and I meet this woman named Nina Rowan Heller, who ended up becoming my co-author. So she's the CEO of our company. She's the wife of our CEO, and she also is a health and wellness coach. She's coached Matthew McConaughey, the founders of Microsoft. Like, she's a big deal. And we sit down to interview, and she's asking me about my career, and I'm like, well, and I'm, doing my very canned answers because I could talk about real estate in my sleep. And we're doing the interview, and she stops me, and she puts her hand on my shoulder, and she says, and how did that make you feel? And I'm like, feel?
Right.
I mean, bumps and bruises, but you do what you do. And then we keep talking, and she says, well, and how did that make you feel? And I'm thinking, like, what the heck, chick? Like, you're messing up my flow.
Right.
And she asked the camera crew to step outside.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on. And she said, a quote that kind of shifted my life. She said, Rachel, have you ever heard that quote that your video isn't matching your audio? Like, your video isn't matching your audio. And I'm not kidding. My face turned white. And I said, I've heard it, but not in reference to me. And she said, what's really going on here? And I think it's one thing to be honest with other people, but it's another thing to be honest with yourself. And like on this workout bench in Texas with my hair done and all of that, I just burst into tears. And I just tell her, I said, I got a divorce and I've never dealt with it. And I don't even know how to start. And I work so hard to make everything look perfect because I think that's what people want. And I am tired. I'm just tired. And I don't even know what I want. I know I'm meant for something big, but I don't even know what that is. So, we end up having this beautiful, honest conversation for like 2 hours about what my life could look like if I was truly embracing authenticity and leading my life with intention. And I never shot the commercial. She sent me home. It was super, super embarrassing. I cried for about 2 days. And then I remember this moment of being in my house, and I was for some reason I was on the ground, but I was on my knees, and I just remember saying like out loud, like, okay, I know I'm meant for more. Like, what could my life look like if I was truly leading this authentically? Like, who would I want to hang out with? What would I be surrounded by? Like, what would my everyday look like? And what conversations would I be having? And I realized at the time that I had some distractions. I had some things holding me back. And for me, at the time, my two biggest distractions, or noises, if you will, was dating and drinking. And I think that happens kind of quickly. Like, you don't necessarily realize, but the dating for me, I was literally on 3 online dating sites.
Oh, wow.
kind of trying to fill some void, I think. I didn't really figure out what the perfect partner looked like for me. I just was like thinking I'll just keep dating till I find the right guy. And then drinking, it kind of happens subtly. Like you have cocktails with your girlfriends and you'll have happy hour with a client and, you know, then you have a stressful day at home, so you have a glass of wine. And before I knew it, I was having wine like 3 or 4 nights a week, which might not seem a lot to some people, but when you want to lead a healthy lifestyle, that wine in you, like, you know, it starts like, oh, just have a glass of wine. Well, okay, I'll have an appetizer. Okay, we can split cheesesteak, and then 30 pounds later.
Right.
So I ended up deciding that for 90 days, I'm going to take out my 2 biggest distractions, which was dating and drinking, and just see what happened. I was like, I don't know what life's going to look like, but I know that these are 2 catalysts that I feel are holding me back. So for 90 days, I decided that I was just going to commit to a better way of leading my life. And amazing things started to happen for me, just in all different categories. And on day 69 of the 90, I went back to Texas for a convention, and I'm walking down a hall, and I see Nina. And she's like, oh, my God, Rachel, what happened to you? And I said, you happened in a conversation. And I'm 25 pounds lighter, and my skin's glowing, and I've been journaling, and I've started exercising and meal prepping and meditating, and I mean, we can get into it, but editing my peer group and being aware of my schedule, and just so many things changed for me, and it was kind of like a ripple effect. And she's like, do you think that we can talk about this? And to get 10 minutes with this woman is almost impossible. And we ended up time blocking an hour a week for the next 2 months. And she flew me down to her house in San Diego, which is ridiculous. And, you know, she has 25 years experience with all kinds of clients and celebrities and all this stuff. And she asked if I could kind of pinpoint the things that changed. And I ended up coming up with 12 big things that changed in my life over those 90 days. And that ended up turning into 12 chapters. And then there was so much content there that we were like, well, gosh, everybody reads a book and they say, oh, this is good, I'm going to implement it. And then they put it back on the shelf and they never do. And so we're like, we need to create a program. So then there's an amazing app where you can literally work on personal development anywhere you go. You journal on the fly. You take your progress pictures at 0, 30, 60, 90 days. There's a 90 days, Facebook support and accountability group. There's T-shirts. It's just like become this amazing thing. And my life, I'm a completely different person. Like, and now we're speaking nationally all over the U.S. and next year we get to speak in Dubai, which is amazing. And we have a woman in Africa doing it. And like, it's just, we're on the news and it's changing people's lives. And the messages we get from this are just, oh man. So that's my story.
Wow. That's a hell of a story. I mean, that is such a transformation, and those are the stories that, certainly impact me the most, and I think most people can just really relate to that story of kind of feeling lost and, hopeless, and there was almost like not even awareness at the beginning of where you were at. And just one simple conversation turned that light bulb on for you. And you know what? I think everybody has those opportunities. Those light bulbs can come on, but you took that and you ran with it. And that's just so impressive because people can get this information and then still choose to not take action and move forward and make those changes. And they're not easy. It's not easy to make these changes when they're habitual in your lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work.
Well, changes scary and growth is uncomfortable. That's like the biggest thing that I realized. And usually when you're uncomfortable, it's because something good's coming, Right. And when you're feeling really, really overwhelmed and then you have this total breakdown, what follows a breakdown is usually a breakthrough. And I knew sitting on the ground that day on my knees that I was meant for more. And I already had a pretty good platform because of real estate. And I always thought real estate's what I do. Like, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I have a team and it is what I do. It's my full-time job. And my passion is really inspiring others to lead their best life. And, I think that people, the authenticity thing, like I was so afraid of being open with people about getting a divorce, and reality is a lot of people get divorced, and I was letting it define me instead of saying, no, wait a second, this is just part of my journey. And I'm so thankful for how this whole process ended up working, because there's the way that the book's kind of separated, is each week you focus on a different topic. And one of the topics is your relationship standards and allies. And what I realized with people is there's so many times when they want to get into a relationship that they go, okay, I'm going to lose 20 pounds so I'm attractive for this person. And then I'm going to start this new hobby so I meet somebody new. And it's like, if you stop trying to be something else for everyone else and you really figure out what makes you tick and you start leading your life at a high level, that person is going to come into your life because of who you are, because they're attracted to that person, not who you're trying to be,
Right.
And it's just like, oh man, it is my mission now for everyone to lead an authentic life, because I've seen the difference it can have. Like who I am now. I just I was speaking at an office was it yesterday, day before yesterday, and I spoke in that office a year ago. And I walked in and one of the women said, oh my God, I saw you a year ago, and who you are now and how you hold yourself, and that I'm in a super, super amazing relationship now, and I talk about him a lot. She's like, you're a completely different person. And it's the power of embracing authenticity.
Mm-hmm. So that's only been within a year? How long ago?
Well, I've seen her about a year ago. So I think the thing people don't realize is that personal development is a lifelong journey. You're going to go on.
Right.
So I finished my 90-day program that wasn't even a program yet. It was just me doing 90 days of no dating and drinking. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to do 90 more days, but not of dating and drinking. It was, what else could I take out of my life? Like, if I want to be the highest and best version of myself, what does that look like? And so now for me, sometimes I'll take something out for 90 days, and sometimes I'll put something in 90 days, like a 90-day fitness challenge or something, But the book came out so we published the end of December of 2014. And we've been running, so we run the 90-day challenge groups, and they always start the first Monday of every month. So our next one starts September 5th, and then, the next month it'll be whatever the first Monday is in October. And we're always participating in the challenge groups, because we have there's a Facebook group where every single day for 90 days you are answering a question, you're interacting, and sometimes it's, what's your favorite healthy snack on the go, and other times it's who's the number one person who most inspires you and why. But you're connecting with these people all over the world that are going through major, major life transformation stuff over these 90 days. So it's really nice to have the support and accountability. But the interesting thing for me is I wrote the book. 3 months after I wrote the book, I met Ryan, who's my boyfriend now. And in the book, there's a spot where you really identify what matters to you in a relationship, like characteristic and traits that matter to you in a relationship. And then next to the word, you write a paragraph about why it matters. And my boyfriend, Ryan, like, he is my list. He's every single thing I put down on my list. And when we ended up starting to date and everything, he has a list too. And I match his list. So that was pretty cool.
I love that. I did that myself. Over 3 years ago, and I'm getting married next month. So
yay! Oh my gosh,
definitely works.
It totally does. I know, it's silly. I do a lot on social media, and on Facebook we have like people who will like literally private message me, like, we can't wait for him to propose. Like, we love your guys' relationship. I'm like, oh my goodness, no pressure, honey.
So cool. So your book is called Lost to Found in 90 Days, and you created this program to help people stay accountable and get that support to actually follow through on the action steps in the book. So I know you started to explain the program. Can you go into a little more detail about what that looks like?
Absolutely. So I'm going to grab a copy of the book right now to just kind of read through the chapters to tell you what they are. So the way that the program works is it's a 90-day program, and the title of the book is Lost to Found in 90 Days, Your Journey to Self-Discovery and Ultimate Happiness. Now, there's different tools or pieces to the program. The first part is the book, and the way it works is you are assigned a chapter each week of the book to read, and with that also comes an inspirational guidance video. That's Nina and I walking you through the chapter and giving you tools and tips and things to work on. Like one of them we talk about mindset and body posture. We talk about how to get six-pack abs while you drive. So, like, fun stuff and also some serious. So the way that the book works is there's 12 chapters, and each chapter you basically dedicate a week to. Now, the first half of every chapter is called Rachel's Journey, so it's why I went through what I went through. And the second half is called Nina's Knowledge, and that's done workbook style. So the reader's actually doing homework assignments and answering questions, and there's graphs to fill out, and it's very interactive. So the first week's called Your Story and Your Big Why. Then you move to your 2 distractions, your day, planning and implementing, your water, your nutrition and fuel, your exercise and sleep, your mindset and body posture, your journal, your relationship standards and allies, your goals and lists, your spirituality and meditation, and then lastly, your quiet time and self-love. So each week you focus on one of those topics. You watch the video, and the videos are anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. And then every single day for 90 days, you have a Facebook support and accountability group. So it's a private group. No one sees it. And you are you're answering questions. You're really connecting with other people. Some of the topics are difficult when you talk about what your 2 big distractions are and what your life could look like, what's holding you back. Sometimes that's really hard for people because they're having to deal with stuff from the past. So you have a really neat support and accountability group through social media. The app is probably my favorite thing about the entire program. Not that the book isn't awesome, but a lot of things shift when you're working on personal development. And so we have all different things in the book, but there's clean eating grocery lists. So when you're at the grocery store, you can pull out your app and figure out how to, what to buy, because a lot of people don't know what clean eating is. There's meal prep tips, there's recipes, there's actual guides, so some sample meal guides of what you could eat for the week. There's how to dress for your body type because your body's changing. So there's tips on how to dress for your body type. Through the app, you take a picture at days 0, 30, 60, and 90. So you get and then when you graduate, you get a 90-day transformation certificate, and it shows all your pictures, and you can do that all through the app. You can journal. You track your foods, your waters, your workouts. You have a profile where you share your favorite book, one things you excel in. I mean, the whole thing with that is that you can work on your personal development anywhere. There's exercise videos. All your inspirational guided videos are available online, also through your phone. And we just got approved by Apples and Androids, and I'm super excited about it. I'm actually shooting the promo video for the app on next Friday. And then there's T-shirts, and the T-shirts are fun. Women get a tank top, and it's like a good athletic material, and then men get a T-shirt. And we have a lot of couples that are doing it together right now because, as you know, with personal development,
yeah,
especially in a relationship like you. What's your fiance's name?
Andy.
Okay, so obviously the space you're in, you're having these big, powerful conversations with amazing people, and for you, it's really, your personal development's going through the roof. And as you know, that sometimes when you go on these journeys, if you're not bringing your partner along, it can cause issues at home where there's a little bit of separation, and we didn't want that to happen. So we have a lot of couples that end up doing this program together because they want to make sure that they're both on the same page.
I think that's so cool. That's awesome that you can, I completely agree. If one partner is outgrowing the other, it can definitely create challenges in the relationship.
You bet.
Yeah.
So it's neat. I mean, there's so many pieces in this. I think too, like it's important to really know your boundaries and know what that looks like. I think one of the things we talk about in the book is that a clean no versus a dirty yes. And what that means is that there's so many times that people, if you have a busy social life, or there's a lot of things that are going to happen where someone's going to say, hey, do you want to go to happy hour, or can you come to my party, or do you want to get lunch this day? And either you don't want to do it or you don't have time to do it, but you say yes because you want to make that person feel good or feel important. Well, I was a people pleaser, so I said yes to everything, but that's a dirty yes because you don't actually want to do it. So being able to give a clean no, where you say, you know what, it doesn't fit in my schedule, or I'd love to reschedule for another time, or you know what, it's just not something that fits in my wheelhouse right now. That's a clean no. And you want to get really intentional about having clean no's versus dirty yeses, because when you're a talented person or you're, very social or you have a lot going on in your life, opportunity is always going to come. And so you have to be aware that when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And when you start to get really intentional about the relationships in your life, whether it's friendships, romantic, it doesn't matter, your kids, those people matter. And being present with those you love really, really matters. And so you have to think, how do I want to spend my time? Like, if we all have the same amount of hours in a day, how do you choose to spend your time? And then who do you choose to spend your time with?
Right. Yeah. So important. I mean, what else is in this program? And by the way, is the app already live, or you said it's going to be
Yes.
live?
It's totally live. So you can, we haven't released it yet, but you totally can. So if you go online and go on your app store and you look up L2F90, and the 2 and 90 are the actual number, you can download it and you can kind of see what it looks like, but to get full access, you need to actually get the program.
Okay.
But you can kind of see the outline of it. And then also for your readers, for your listeners, they can download the first 3 chapters of the book for free as well, and I'll give you the link for that, as well as they can watch one of the inspirational guidance videos just to kind of get a feel for what we do.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat. And so, there's lots of different...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
go ahead. Yeah.
Well, there's lots of different things that are in here, because I think for some people, they know, that they have a purpose, but they don't have it clearly identified. And so there's different conversations you have in your life, and you can hear the same quote over and over, but until you're ready to receive it, it's not going to mean anything. And so we really try and work through, what makes you tick? Why do you do what you do? If you weren't paid to work, what would your job look like? Because ultimately people, they'll close their eyes and they know they're meant for more, but they just might not know what that is. And so this 90-day journey is a path to help them figure out what that is and how they're going to get there.
So you've already had people who've graduated from this program,
yes.
And certainly it sounds like there's physical transformation in the way they look and the amount of weight they've lost and the vitality and energy
mental.
they have.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's also, I'm assuming, some relationship changes that have happened. Maybe it's people ending toxic relationships or entering healthy relationships. You've probably seen changes with career, people having career shifts. Tell us some success stories. I want to hear some of your success stories.
Yeah, definitely. While I'm talking to you, I'm going to pull up one of my favorite testimonials because it makes me cry when I read it. So I had one woman write me, and she said, she told me that lost and found improved her marriage. I said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to hear that. Can you tell me more about that? And she said, well, I took out, one of my 2 distractions that I took out was soda. And I said, so taking out soda improved your marriage? She said, well, let me explain it to you. So in the program, you take out your 2 biggest distractions. And she wanted to lose weight. And she was, she was a busy working mom. She was married. And she worked. And, she felt like she was just kind of spinning at the end of the day. She said, I just kept working, and, I didn't really have time to cook because I'd come home late, and then we'd go out to eat, and I wouldn't make really good decisions, and she said, and I always drink soda. I realized because in your 2 biggest distractions, there's a journal you fill out, a journal you fill out, and there's kind of a process we help you break down to figure out what those 2 distractions might be, and then we help you implement how you're going to take them out. And she realized that she was drinking over 8 sodas a day, and she was like, holy moly, I wonder if that's going to help me lose weight, right? So she takes out her sodas, but she has kids, and they drank soda too. So they made a rule as a family that they would only drink soda when they went out to eat. And they were eating out several nights a week. Well, her other big thing that she was taking out was extra spending. She was realizing that they had no part of the book. You look at financial. There's a lot of pieces to it. So she realized they have no savings. And she's like, okay, well, if I took out eating out and I took out soda, that could be two really big things. One of those is health and one of those is financial. So she takes out eating out, takes out soda, and so she starts cooking at home a lot. Well, she comes home, she has to go to the grocery store, and she would pick up her kids and take them to the grocery store. So she'd leave work a little bit earlier, take her kids to the grocery store. She would start to ask how their day was at the grocery store, which is a piece she wasn't doing, right? And then she's home, and she's cooking dinner and looking up recipes, and it became kind of a fun thing for the family to do together. And as she's going through her 90-day journey, she starts losing weight because there's exercise and fuel and nutrition and sleep, but there's a lot of different things you work on. And she's not drinking soda, so that obviously is cutting out a ton of calories. And it kind of starts to set a new spark in her marriage with her husband. And they had times where they would still go out to eat, if there were special occasions. Well, the kids were like, we don't want to, because they were starting to see their parents like flirting with each other in the kitchen and getting along. And, she's like, I didn't even realize that I was having marriage problems until it started to change. And I realized how healthy my marriage could be. And so she wrote me, and I was reading her email, and I'm like crying because it's just so beautiful. So she took out soda. It improved her relationship with her kids. It improved her marriage with her husband. And she wrote the most beautiful testimonial. And it just, that for me, that's like the big why, right?
Yeah, the whole family dynamic shifted. And, also what's really exciting about that story is those kids are learning healthy eating habits that will stay with them for the rest of their life. And, they don't have to wait until they're her age to learn the hard way. That's pretty cool.
Okay, so this is Grace's testimonial. It says, for those of you on the fence about going through the Lost to Found in 90 Days program, let me tell you a little story. The words self-discovery have always been scary. When you come from my background, why would you want to relive a painful past? Why explore the reasons I'm tentative about acknowledging that I am enough, or even that I am amazing? I very slowly worked my way through the book. I had to stop and restart several times. I've never been the adventurous type. I don't want to look silly. I don't want to fail, so I sit in the background. I've recognized the weakness of myself, and because I know better, I've done better with my kids. I've made a very conscious decision to allow them to explore the world, whether it's theater, swim camp, basketball, baseball, volleyball, museums, theme parks, zip lines, etc. They've enjoyed the world around them. I am their cheerleader, incredibly happy for them, but on the sidelines. Now here is my victory. My family and I recently returned from a 7-day cruise through the Grand Caymans, Honduras, and Mexico. During the cruise, I snorkeled for the first time ever. I'm not a strong swimmer, and I've been scared of drowning, so I hired a personal certified snorkel buddy. This young man stayed beside me the entire time. Wow, it was magnificent. I'm afraid of heights, and yet I climbed the Mayan ruins. Even scarier, I climbed back down one small step at a time, even the tour guide cheered me on. I swam with dolphins. I put my life jacket on and enjoyed the experience with my family. Who cares if a grown woman has a life jacket on, like one of the little kids? And the request that a dolphin handler stay by her side. By the way, my husband and my kids and my hubby my kids and my hubby thought I was the bomb. Why the change? Because, among other things, I now cancel or delete thoughts or feelings that have stopped me. Lost to Found taught me that. I talk nicely to myself. Lost to Found taught me that. I feel better than I have in years. I'm hydrated for the first time probably my entire life. Lost to Found taught me that. This program is not easy. It takes you to places that are uncomfortable. But what you'll find at the end of the 90 days is absolutely an amazing you. Thank you, Rachel Adams and Nina Rowan Heller. You've changed my life forever. I love you.
Beautiful.
That's why you do what you do,
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get better than that. And there's people the cool thing about being in one of the challenge groups is you see people having these amazing transformations and they're excited to post, instead of being embarrassed to post their before and afters, they're excited because of the transformation they went on. Because it's
right.
yes, it shows on the outside, but it's only a reflection of what's happening on the inside.
I think what I also love about what you're sharing is that there is a celebration that's occurring at the end. I think a lot of times in our culture, as people are doing work on themselves, it might be hard for them to actually be able to fully celebrate their success because they don't want to make other people around them feel bad, and which is really unfortunate. I think we all should be able to feel good about celebrating their successes, and it's not that we're bragging or showing off. It's just par for course of the work we're doing, right? Celebration is part of the process. So that's so great that there's that environment that's safe for people to be vulnerable and to show the failures and the successes all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. So I know there was a couple other valuable guidelines that you wanted to discuss as part of this program, and one of that is personal boundaries. I think you hit on that a little bit with the yes and no. Is there anything else you wanted to elaborate on?
Well, I think, for people who work and who have, clients or different things, what I found was, for me, when I'm sitting with a new client, I let them know that, I'm available until 7 o'clock at night. That's my business hours, right? And I set that time up. I set the expectation with them. And what happens a lot of time, especially in real estate, but in other businesses as well, you tell someone you're available till 7 o'clock at night. So take, for example, it is clients that are buying a house with me, and they're excited they're buying a house, and it's 9:30 at night, and they're scrolling through the new houses I just done, and then they're opened a bottle of wine, and they're really excited. Well, they send me a text message at 9:30 at night about this new house. So let's text her. And I've told them that I'm available till 7, right? Mm-hmm. If I answer that text message at 9:30, I've now set my new boundary that it's okay to contact me until 9:30 at night.
Right.
And you teach people how to treat you. So you have to be really intentional about your boundaries when it comes to anyone outside your home. And, Ryan and I, when we got together, I had been married before. He was in a 5-year relationship. And so we had a lot of things we learned from when we came to our relationship, and we committed. We were really intentional about what we wanted in our relationship and what we didn't want. And one of the things that we identified was having something we call a tech timeout. And what it is it's a designated amount of time. There are no phones. And at the dinner table, it's no phones, no TV, and no computer. And it's for us, it's just being able to connect and having somewhere where we can just say, okay, because with phones, especially now with all the different social media platforms, Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter and yada yada, you will have notification after notification. And if you're that person who you see a notification and your world stops to grab it, which I'm not perfect. I definitely still struggle with it as well, and I'm better. It's really important to make sure that there are times that you just have no technology and you're fully present with the people you're with. And my number one priority in my life, obviously first my health and my happiness comes first, but then it's my relationship with Ryan. And he matters to me more than anyone or any client, and so I want to make sure that that he feels that way. So we set up boundaries kind of around our relationship. So personal boundaries or professional boundaries around our clients. And we make sure we have time for each other. It sounds really silly, but we were so excited last Monday that we had nothing to do at night. And at 7:30 at night, we opened a bottle of wine and I cooked dinner, and we had a date night at home, and we were like silly excited about it. but that's the stuff where when you're so busy, you sometimes forget how important it is to take a step back. And one of the 90-day challenges, we have a thing where you go on a date night. And whether it's a date night with your partner, and when I wrote the program, I was single, and it was a date night with myself. It was making a bubble bath and, having some music or watching a silly, chick flick or whatever it is. But to designate time that you just dedicate to those you love or, yourself, it's really, really important. And then the other thing we did in our house that's kind of cool, and I talk about it in the book as well in the journaling chapter, is creating a sacred space in your home. And, obviously a lot of people have kids, so they've got, stuff going all over the place and toys and different things. It doesn't have to be a room. It can even just be a chair. But somewhere in your home that when you sit in there, you can just kind of go, and you can just decompress. So when I was in my old house, there's a picture of it in the book, but it's my sacred space where I journaled, and it was just this little corner in my couch with a bunch of comfy pillows and a blanket, and it was a place where I felt really good about journaling and kind of decompressing. And in my house with Ryan, we moved in together last September, we have what we call the love chair. And the love chair is where it's at some point in our evening when we come home from work, either it's when we first get home or, we end our night there, but it's just our chair where usually there's no phones on it, we're not on our phone, and it's just a place where we can sit and just connect and talk. And we're big fans of the love chair. It's just our safe space. It's the place for the two of us where we sit on. It's like a chair and a half. He really wanted a lazy boy, and I was like, we are not having a recliner in this house. Like, that's not happening. So it's kind of our happy compromise, because it still has studs on it and it's really pretty, but it does recline.
That's good. That's so cool. So I love that. It's really, what I'm hearing from you, there's just a lot of clarity and consciousness regarding the decisions that you're making in your life, whether it's personal or professional. And it's hard to feel good about what's going on in your life if you're not having those conscious choices, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely.
Use your time, who you spend your time with. I want you to talk a little bit about that, like the importance of who you choose to surround yourself with, because that is a big part of personal development. I know that's a big lesson that I've heard over the years, and I want to spend a little time talking about that.
Yeah. Well, Jim Rohn, he has a quote that I love, and it's also in the program, and it's, you are the sum of the five you hang around, right? So if you had to rate those people in your life, leading their life at a level 10, right? And level 10 is hard to achieve that in all categories, spirituality and health and wealth and, mindfulness and all that. But the idea is, if you have to rate your friends leading their life at a high level, now, you have to remember that if you're the sum of the five you hang around and one of your friends is super negative and always talking about how the world's out to get them and their job sucks and their marriage sucks, that person could be a 2. So that 2 is bringing your average down. And if you're wanting to achieve this big life and be healthy and love your career and have a healthy marriage and be physically fit and spiritually connected or whatever makes you tick, you can't really do that with that 2 in your life. And so it's something we talk about called editing your peer group. And sometimes it's difficult, but you have to look at who you surround yourself with. And you have to say, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and this is where I want to go. Is every person in my life conducive to helping me get there? And if not, you might have some tough decisions to make. And that's okay. That sometimes it's just reality and part of what life offers you. And it's not easy. When I was going through my 90-day journey, when you stop drinking alcohol, it is a pretty interesting thing. Some of your friends are really supportive and some of them think it's ridiculous. And, my peer group changed.
Right. Yeah, alcohol can be a big part of how people connect with each other. So if it's something that you're choosing to remove from your lifestyle or at least take a break from, then it certainly can shift that up. And it's great, though, I think, when you see, like, oh, wait, my relationship's just based on, like, hanging out with these people at a bar. Like, what is that? How's that really helping me? How's that really contributing to getting me where I want to be and my purpose in life?
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, it's so cool. So, yeah, I love that Jim Rohn quote, and I really also live that. And I think it's interesting, even for me actually going through, planning a wedding and deciding who I was going to invite to my wedding.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Like, people over the years that were, like, some of my best friends that are just haven't chosen to continue to grow themselves.
Yeah.
And they're just people I don't really want to spend time with. And it's not that there was any big falling out or anything like that. It's just energetically, we're not a match anymore. And I'm very conscious that I want to continue to surround myself with people that are wanting to grow and improve and love and contribute and be positive and, have a bigger mission than themselves. Like these are the people that I want to be around. So, yeah.
So it's like-minded individuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like-minded individuals. And, Ryan, my boyfriend, we talk about that a lot because we want to surround ourselves with other couples that are goal-oriented, professionals. And we're the majority of our friends, to be honest, like they all have kids. Like we're some of the last ones without kids. And we absolutely plan on having children. We just aren't there yet. And even seeing how they raise their kids and how they choose to parent their kids. Not that, obviously everyone has their own techniques, and there are some things that some of our friends do that we've seen that we're like, that doesn't gel with us,
Right.
And so we're funny. We talk about that we're actively recruiting, but we're always looking for other couples that are just like super respect each other. Respect is so huge, and there's so many couples that do not respect each other. And, that's a big deal for us. And so if we're some of the 5 we hang around, we're really aware of who we allow in our lives and who we nicely, let leave our lives.
That's right. Very cool. I love that. So I want to wrap up this interview with you ending with the best advice that you can share with our listeners today.
Thank you. I think just really look at where you're at right now in your life. And if you close your eyes and you think, what do I want my life to look like 5 years from now? What physical fitness level are you at, right? Like, how does your body feel? And then who are you surrounding yourself by? What does your group of friends look like? What vacations are you going on? Where are you living? What books are you reading? You want to think about 5 years from now, what does the ideal version of you look like? And then look at where you're at right now. And if where you're at right now, you're absolutely on the path to get there, then that's amazing. And for most people, there's something holding them back in their life or they're just not there yet. And sometimes they don't even know what that perfect life looks like. And we all know perfection isn't a real thing, right? It's just progress.
Right.
But it's like, how do I get there? Well, you do the right thing. Well, what's the right thing? We'll help you figure that out, I think the biggest deal is just to really think about where you want to be and know that personal development is a scary space, but it doesn't have to be, and you don't have to do it alone because good stuff happens when you're uncomfortable, and this book, and especially the program, is there to support you in it. And we there are programs out there that are like $2,000, $3,000. Ours is $995, and that includes the book. It includes the app, the T-shirt, all 90 days of coaching, and then all the videos as well. So, and once you do it, you're a lifetime member as well. So just, I really want you to think about where you're at right now and where you want to go. And, 90 days, people think 90 days like, oh man, that's a long time. But what if 90 days could change the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's priceless,
Awesome. I love that. And the website is lost4found90.com.
Correct.
Cool. Rachel,
lostfound90.com. Yes, you're super welcome. And if you want to watch any of the videos, you just click on the upper right-hand little menu, and upper left-hand menu, and you can go on to previews, the free previews. And that's where you can download the first 3 chapters for free and watch one of the videos. And our next group, they start the first Monday of every month. I'm not sure when this is going to be aired, but first Monday of every month is when they start. And if you have any questions, you can always shoot an email and follow me on Facebook at Rachel Adams Realtor. You can learn more too.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, I'm excited for the women listening to go on to the website, check it out, and really make a decision to make a shift in their life and for the better.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks again.
Well, I can't wait. Yeah, thank you.